The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.
What's up, everybody? I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
And this is the Magic Mike Show, episode 480, Mr. Somich.
Saratoga, huzzah!
Hey now! We had to have Nick Feldman. Nick Feldman had to fill in for you when we did the full preview for the Thursday opening day card. He had his own Saratoga, huzzah. But I'm glad to have you here. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy vacation schedule. Aloha.
Aloha. It's been. I've missed the podcast. I've missed my time with Magic. Mitch, the Dudes Who Bet Daily. Excited to get it back going here. And I got to say, I love Saratoga. I really do. But man, you crack those PPs and you're just like, well, shit. These are tough races, up and down, every single one. There's not that easy spot. Love this horse. It's the sixth race today. The first one we're gonna preview. Literally was like, oh yeah, could use the one. Nope, could use the two. Oh, could use the three. Yep. Oh, could use the four. Every single horse. It was like, yeah, that horse is usable. That's what makes Saratoga so tough. You got to figure out where you're going short, where you're going deep, and how you're going to kind of maneuver your way through these sequences because they are not easy, and it is hard to be right 5 times in a row at Saratoga.
It's hard to be right five times in a row in general. You throw in Saratoga in the mix and you're like, well, like you said, well, shit. Okay, here we go. But it's a lot of fun. I'm hoping we stay on the turf. I know that there's some chances for inclement weather that could disrupt things. I handicap like we're going to be on the turf, and if it comes off, well, then shit. We'll figure it out afterwards. But we're doing this show a day early on Wednesday, not just because we're excited, but also because you are headed up to Saratoga. You'll love it that much. You're going to be there this weekend. So we had to get this in for the Friday one. They haven't drawn Saturday's card yet, but we will have previews for all of the big races for Saratoga all weekend long at youtube.com. Actually, all meet long at youtube.com/racingdudes. So you're headed to Saratoga soon, though.
Yeah, the crazy July continues. Hawaii for a week, then have to go to Saratoga for 10 days. I'm seeing Dave Matthews up there, going to be there for opening day, opening weekend, then flying back down to California, going to Del Mar the last weekend of July. It's a busy racing week, or month, I should say. But again, I cannot complain that I've been in Hawaii, at Saratoga, and Del Mar in the same month. That's a pretty good life, so no issue there.
Yeah, I don't think anybody, especially not anybody who's on screen with you, is going to feel too bad for you about that one. So, you're going to get to leave sunshine Los Angeles, as Rodney says. It's about to be scorching hot. You're getting out at the right time, buddy. It's supposed to be inland farther. It's supposed to get over 120 over the weekend. That's insane.
It's gotten warm here in Santa Barbara. I'm not going to lie. It was hot in Hawaii, but the house now here is already warm back here. I got to have the polo or the T-shirt on when we're doing these shows. It's too hot in the back of it. But, yeah, look. Life is good, man. Life is good. We've got Saratoga. We've got Del Mar. And, of course, we've got 4 Chad Browns and Diana. So everything just back to normal here in 2023.
4 of the 5 in the Diana. I didn't see. I know an Italian's supposed to be in that, and maybe she's going to be a single. But I know Aaron's doing the preview for that. You can check that out either later today, Wednesday, or more likely on Thursday. But we are tackling the Friday late pick 5, headlined by the Coronation Cup, which has got Love Reigns for Wesley Ward in there, and we can talk a lot about that last race she was in too, because oh boy, so many Rosario things. But we'll get there in a second. In the meantime, let's get started. Riders up. All right, here we go. My first leg of the Saratoga late pick 5 on Friday, July 14th. Race 6 is a 9-furlong inner turf route for 8 males, 3 and up, plus 3 MTOs at the N1X allowance level. I almost singled in here. Where'd you go on top?
I thought about singling as well, and I'm guessing we both thought about singling the 7 Shutters here on top. I thought Shutters were the top pick. And look, I'm hitting the all button in one of these races, so I'm probably going to play a press ticket because I have 2 singles in the pick 5 sequence that we're going to run through here to be able to make it affordable. So I'll be playing a press ticket, and this one is the one I'm probably going to go either 2 or 3 deep in. But for me, it started with the 7 Shutters, who I thought made a ton of sense here in this spot. The last race was really, really good, and I thought just didn't have much room. Ended up running right behind Al's Rocket, who's the 5 horse in this race, but with a little bit better of a trip. You'd expect Shutters is going to be able to flip the script there. It's a 5-year-old by Get Stormy, who should improve a little bit here. I'm not going to the thing, we went from Chad Brown to Mark Hennig, and Chad Brown generally going to get better buyers from turf horses. So I'm not going to say we're going to be able to get back to that Chad Brown level, but it looks like a repeat effort of the last with space probably gets the job done here for Shutters. So I ended up with a 7 horse on top.
Yeah, this was my top pick as well. Third off the layoff, third start at age 5. You think this is going to be a peak effort, at least compared to the last few starts the horse has had. That last out effort is really why I was considering singling. I thought this horse ran better than Al's Rocket did. Just a super ran out of room on the inside, right? Was in step with the race winner there, exact estimate. But the winner got to go wide around the slowing pace horses. And Velasquez was kind of forced to go up the rail with the positioning, and he was there until there wasn't room on the rail, and he had to steady really hard. But what I liked about it is that he kept fighting and kind of real at the last second, kind of re-engaged and started gaining again. Whereas Al's Rocket, to me, when I was watching the replay, was just kind of like running in place for most of the stretch there. So I thought that the upside was with Shutters. Mark Hennig is a really nice guy. He's a great trainer. He does things right. That's why he's only 9%. But I'd love to see him get the win. I love that Velasquez keeps the mount here. So I went with the 7 on top. We differ from here. My second and only other horse I use is the number 8 Oglethorpe at 6-1. 2 turf efforts on page were decent, including finishing second to Exact Estimate, who we just talked about, beat Al's Rocket, beat 3 horses that are in this race here. Distance may not be an issue for him. He's never tried a mile and an eighth, but he's coming out of 3 straight mile and a 16th races. He's never gone shorter than a mile, so clearly they thought this horse was going to be a distance would be his friend here. And the way I looked at it, I think the 2 and 6 are probably going to go to the lead here, and I don't think either one of them are going to be able to hold on. I think Oglethorpe's going to be the one sitting right behind them and get first run on them. He had 3 straight turf route wins earlier in his career. They're against New York breds, but one of them was going a mile and a 16th over this inner turf course. So I went 7-8 here, trying to get a little bit of a price, but I understand why you're using Al's Rocket as well.
Yeah, I didn't hate the 8. 8 was actually the last horse off my ticket. So this was my 4th pick in this race and the last one off. So I could see the case for the 8. And if there are 1 or 2 scratches in my all race, I may be able to add the 8 depending on the price and how much you want to spend. Yeah, Al's Rocket, look, I think a mile's too short. And for me, that was really why I don't hate that last effort. I think that this horse wants to go longer, ran really well 2 back going a mile and an eighth. That's the distance we're going today. And I think the mile 1 turn at Belmont also wasn't his best friend. I think that the 2 turn races are going to be better for Al's Rocket. So I'm going to use Al's Rocket. And one of the big reasons as well is that IRAD ends up on this horse. And to me, the 3 horse here, Battle of Normandy, is kind of you're either like, hey, single, and this is the best horse in the race, or you're passing on the horse. Mm-hmm. The fact that IRAD's jumping off Battle of Normandy and going on to Al's Rocket tells me pretty much everything I need to know about Battle of Normandy, and also the fact that I think Al's Rocket does have a legit shot at beating Shutters again in this spot. So I am going to use the 5 Al's Rocket because of the jock switch and because of the added distance, which I do think benefits Al's Rocket. I don't know how you leave the 1 horse Dancing with the Stars off your ticket at this point. There's going to be a stakes race at Saratoga named after this damn horse if it's able to continue up with what he's been able to do. 3 for 6 at Saratoga, 1 here last year, 1 here twice in 2021. You know who rode him every single one of those times?
Luis Saez.
You know who's riding him today?
Luis Saez.
That's enough for me to be interested here. The horse, no issues with the distance, as ran well, just missed at Belmont, going a mile and an eighth, won at a mile and 16th at Saratoga, has gone a mile and 3/16 at Saratoga and was competitive. Draws the rail, which, oh, by the way, matters a lot when you have these 2-turn inner turf races because you need to save ground on both turns if possible. That's something that Dancing with the Stars should be able to do. This is my second pick in the race. If I'm going to press here, I'm probably 7-1. I may go 7-1-5, may go 7-1-8 if I decide to toss the 5 out. But to me, the 1 has to be on your tickets. Absolutely loves this course, knows the jockey well, no issues with the distance. I think it's all systems go for Dancing with the Stars.
The reason I left him off, we're not facing New York breds. And all of those good races he's had, they were against New York breds. And if you look at since he left the New York bred, he blew through his New York bred allowance. Now he's facing the better horses, and the closest he got came at Aqueduct. He was second by a head, but since then, the open company races haven't been that great. Now he is getting back to Luis Saez, and he's getting back to a track where he's had success. But the last time he raced at Saratoga last year, it was against open company with Saez aboard, and that was arguably his worst effort ever at Saratoga. So I took a chance against him because it's not New York bred company anymore that he's facing. But especially a 6-1, I can understand why people would be excited to use him.
Yeah, I believe in the third off the layoff, Luis Saez. I almost feel like at this point they're just pointing towards Saratoga with this horse. where it's like, okay, let's have him ready to go for the Spa, baby. Let's go for 3 years in a row here with a W for Dancing with the Stars. Horses for courses are real things. They just are at Saratoga. You see horses that handle this turf course significantly better than others. Dancing with the Stars is one that he's proven that he handles the course significantly better than others. I couldn't leave him off here.
Who was it? Davey brought up the 3. You talked about Battle of Normandy. This is a horse he's got so much talent, but damn, Mike, he just finds every reason not to win a race. And it's like, I mean, I'm glad we didn't, Irad jumped off. We didn't go back to Carmouche because Carmouche gave him some Rosario-esque rides last year. But he's probably might be the most talented horse in the race. But I couldn't play him, especially not 4-1 here.
Yeah, well, and you look back at like, okay, I remember Alexis Zorb was supposed to be the shit. That horse is not great. That's the battle where he beat day one. Boppy-O, came back and wired a field in the graded stakes after that. But like, we sure Boppy-O's really good, and then got waxed when they faced good horses like Major Dude and Victoria Road, Silver Knot, and Nagbarak, and all those guys. I kind of feel like that first race hyped this horse up a little more than he probably should have been. I'm not saying the horse can't win, but I don't think you're getting 4-1. I think that's closer to 5-2. And I don't trust this horse can take a 12% jump in numbers to be able to compete with the other horses running in here. So I get the weight break helps. This is a 3-year-old taking on older, the only 3-year-old in the field who has a tendency not to win, who needs a pace setup over a turf course that generally plays towards speed. There's just enough for me to not like to be able to throw this one out.
Let's move on. Second leg of the Saratoga Late Pick 5 on Friday, July 14th. Race 7, we're on the dirt for a 6-furlong sprint. 11 older males in for 16K claiming tags. And normally this would be a race from 16K claimers. I've got to research. It's 16K claimers at Saratoga, which means they're like 32K claimers at somewhere else. You have a single in here with my top pick. Tell me about the number 3, No More Talk.
Yeah, the class moves at Saratoga are much more difficult to read than other places because it's like, oh, dropping from 40K to 16K must be a huge class drop. It's like, nope, all the same horses, like literally the same horses are in the field because people want to win at Saratoga and because the purses are huge at Saratoga. And so you have these races. And I thought this was actually a really tough race. If I didn't find the next race so freaking challenging, I would have not single tier. But look, I kind of go up and down this. And one of the times that I single is when I'm like, okay, I know who I like on top. And I don't really know who I like in second and third. And that's where this race kind of felt to me. It's like, look, I like the 3 No More Talk on top. Beating a lot of horses in this field. The races 2 and 3 back are definitely good enough to beat this field again. There is pace in this. Though No More Talk does not need the lead. This is a 9-year-old gelding who likes to win, 14 wins and 85 starts. But don't worry. 3 of the last 10 have been wins. Oh, by the way, 8 of the last 10 in the money. So the horse shows up, runs well. This is a horse where since going to the Jacobson barn, shockingly, we've seen a revival in the career, right? Mm-hmm. And Irad's ridden this horse twice. Both of those were wins. Both of them just off the pace. Both of them as favorites. Both of them beating the multiple horses in this field. It kind of feels like it's a repeat of that. And, I ended up with the 1A and the 9 in second and third and the 6 and fourth. And I could feel myself pressing to put those horses in those positions because if I go past the 3, I might as well use all 10 because that's kind of how it feels after the 3 to me. So when I'm in that type of situation, I'm going to go for the tough single versus going for the spread. And so I ended up with just going with the 3 No More Talk.
Yeah, this race and the next one, my top pick is not only the number 3 horse, but it's Irad riding for David Jacobson. And why not? 38% winners together in the past year. This horse has been a great one. Last time out, 7 furlongs, probably just too much for him. That's a tricky distance. We talk about that a lot. 6 furlongs seems perfect for this horse. I ended up going 4 deep, and I was trying to find some other horses that, for whatever reason, in case the 3 just doesn't fire or something wacky happens. I think the 7 Airport at 8-1, which great name, by the way, with the spelling. I love that. I think this horse is pretty interesting here. Potential lone speed, major jockey upgrade to Jose Ortiz for the first time. And if you caught the Magic Mike show previewing Thursday's opening day card when I had Nick Feldman on, Nick brought up a really great point. Jose Ortiz now has the same jockey agent as Irad Ortiz, as his brother. It's first time Jose, it is becoming a really nice angle that you can get with it to try and get some money on. Where, first time Irad, it's like, well, that's, now he's going to be 2-1. It's, well, no, people haven't adjusted. Even the fact that Jose Ortiz beat Irad for the Belmont training title with the same agent last month. So I'm going to use this horse because I think the lone speed is a interesting angle here. Rudy Rod co-owns the horse as well as trains him. So, when you're paying the bills and you're not really getting that day rate back, you got to be very careful about where you spot these horses Claimed him for 20K, ran him back for 25K 2 times, and protected 1 time. This is a suitable class drop to be competitive at Saratoga. Playing this horse, I'm also thinking maybe 8-1. You're building in a little bit of the angle that Rudy Rod was dog shit at Saratoga last year. He went 0 for what? 0 for 45, 0 for 50 before he finally, I think he got 3 wins right at the last week or 2 of the meet. But it was a horrible start for him. I'm expecting him to rebound here. I don't think that's going to happen. So I have the 7 in second. You talked about the 9 towing. That's my third horse in here. I think this one's interesting. First off, the claim for Norm Cassie, who himself is pretty good at Saratoga. This horse is riding a 2-race win streak following 3 straight races where he was second by a neck, a length, and a head. And Ricardo and Norm Cassie, 32% winners in the past year. I had no idea they were that good together. But yeah, so I went 3-7-9 to start off here. Before I talk about my last one, any thoughts on the 7?
I'm shocked you think someone's going to be Lone Speed in here. I mean, I thought there was going to be 5 horses lining up for it up front. I mean, it feels like there's a lot of horses that want to be forwardly placed. I think the 9 Towing's one of them. The 8 Pintrick is one of them. I wouldn't be shocked if the 1 Poppy's Pride goes, the regular one. The 7, I think, is going to go Airport. Cash Now wants to be forwardly placed around the lead. To me, this seemed like, and Bust and Shout on the inside also. This seemed like more of a pace collapse race than a Lone Speed race. So I was surprised that was one of the angles on the 7.
Speaking of, you talked about the 5 Cash Now. This is the last horse to make my ticket, and the only reason is Rob Atras is the trainer. Rob Atras seemed to really improve this horse, claiming him. His first start for Atras was last out. Missed by a neck going 6 furlongs on the turf at Belmont versus 25K claimers. So slight price drop, but this feels pretty comparable to what he was facing there. Franco was aboard that time. He rides back. He's 26% winners for Atras in the last year. This is a horse that's probably better on turf, right? 3 of the 5 wins that he has came on turf. 1 of the 2 dirt wins was an off-turf race, but it's Atras and Franco. And I also like the fact that he was second back to our top pick in this race in a 6 furlong sprint at Aqueduct. It was 10K claimers, but that was also the race where Atras tagged him out of it. So for him to run back here against these horses and run back against No More Talk, knowing what he did before, I put him on there, but it's also me just kind of playing the trainer-jockey connection angle here. You talked about the 1A Gandy. Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, the 5, I think it's interesting. You go from Summers and Adorno to Atras and Franco. I mean, that's a huge upgrade on both fronts, right? So I can see, I looked at the 5 for quite a bit of time. The 6 horse who ran second to No More Talk as well, 2 back, I think is interesting here. And you have a trainer upgrade in my mind going to the Beg Barn after going to the Beg Barn off that 6 furlong race, gets claimed out of there, comes back and runs in a 7 furlong race. Now we're cutting back down to 6 furlongs. To me, this is the horse that if it does collapse is really dangerous. And I wouldn't be like, if I went too deep here, I'm probably using either the 1A Grandy Dancing or the 6 First Deputy at a little bit of a price, just because I would want someone coming from off the pace.
The 1A, I think this is a horse that if we end up getting sloppy, I'll say it right now, this horse is going on the ticket. 2 wins in the slop on the page. Saez is riding for a 9% trainer in Gustavo Rodriguez. That to me was a huge sign that this horse, if it's sloppy, and it very well could be at 8-1, you got to play the 1A Candy Dancing. So yeah, we handicap this thinking we're going to be normal, but if it is sloppy, Mike, this is the horse you got to play.
Yeah, on the cutback too, so should be able to have some late kick here, and the Saez upgrade is monstrous here, right? I mean, again, this is going from Barrera to Rodriguez, I think is a lateral move, maybe a slight downgrade, but then you get Saez aboard right afterward. To me, that's a big-time upgrade, cutting back in distance. Horse is 3 for 5 at Saratoga with a second. We talked about horses for courses. This is another one that loves Saratoga. Also 5 for 18 at the distance. So the 1A, I think, is definitely a player in this spot. If you're spreading out, I'm hitting the all button in the next race. If you don't want to hit the all button here, I'm probably going 1A 3 6 9 here.
Well, Mike spoiled it. Third leg of the Saratoga Late Pick 5, Friday, July 14th, race 8, 6 furlong dirt sprint, 9 older males. Same setup, right? We got 6 furlong dirt sprint, older horses, males. These are 50K claimers, so these are theoretically much stronger than what we just saw in race 7 here. And you said that you've got the all button here. Kind of explain why you ended up going that way.
First reason, I don't trust anyone in here. Dots Dollar probably going to be your favorite, but Dots Dollar ran on July 8th. That was last week. This is a very, very fast turnaround for Linda Rice. And by the way, she's good at it. 25 efforts, 28% winning off of this. I don't think that race was very good. The favorite in that last race was also a Linda Rice horse. Didn't end up running a step. This one just got up late. So I don't love the favorite. If I don't love the favorite, then it's like, okay, how deep am I going to want to go? And that's where it got a little squirrely for me because I wanted to use the 1, I wanted to use the 3, I wanted to use the 4, I wanted to use the 6, I wanted to use the 8, and all of a sudden I'm 5 deep in a 9-horse field, and it's like, okay, I can make a case for the 7, I can make a case for the 9. Time to hit the all button because I don't want to be going 6, 7, 8 deep in a 9-horse field. That's not a good way to structure a ticket. If you go over half, you might as well use them all. And I was going to go over half here, which meant I'm going to use them all. Again, if I shrunk this down, which I will do, and I'll play a press ticket, 3, 4, 8 would be the ones that I would use. I do like the 1 a little bit at 20-1 as well. So that's one if you want to try and find, if you want to single the 7 in the first leg and then go 3 or 4 deep here in a press ticket, I think the 1 is live at 20-1 as well. And when I'm liking all of these prices, to me, if I have singles and I feel like I've got 2 that I like pretty well here, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the all button.
Well, I went 3 deep, and you nailed 2 of the 3 horses that I'm using here. Top picks, the number 3 C's Get Degrees at 7-2. To me, I think this is your early leader. I love the inner draw there. Big class drop from the N3X allowance company down to this 50K level. Horse has been facing very strong competition for the allowance level, now down into the 50K claimers. Only 2 previous tries at the claiming level. They were both open length wins on the front end. Now, granted, Jonathan Wong was the trainer, but hey, look, David Jacobson's our trainer here. I think we're going to be just fine. 1 gate to wire 2 back for Jacobson and Irad at Pimlico, going 6 furlongs against allowance. So definitely the top pick there. The number 4, Happy Farm. This is my second pick. 6-1 odds here. First off the claim, back into the Anthony Arriaga barn. Arriaga last year at Saratoga, 6 starters, 3 wins. 5 of those 6 hit the board. He was bringing good horses to Saratoga. I think this is one of the ones that spotted pretty well here. Arriaga already had this horse last year, claimed him for $32K, had 4 starts with him, 2 wins, 2 seconds. Pratt rode both of the winners, including versus 40K claimers, over this exact same course and distance last year. Pratt rode this horse last time out, rides through the claim. You know that's an ankle I love. And it's amazing to me this horse is 9 years old. Like, we've got back-to-back, races where I'm picking 9-year-old horses. Look at who's had their hands on this horse. You got Jason Service, Linda Rice, Rob Atras, Linda Rice again, Wayne Potts. Like, it's frankly amazing this horse has lived to be 9 years old, frankly. Like, to survive service for that long and make it to 9 years old is pretty amazing. Last one for me, the number 9, Nifty at 8-1. This horse is first off the claim for Diodoro and a huge jockey upgrade to Javier Castellano. This horse missed 452 days. Came back and he won 3 straight. First 2 were Sam Houston, but that last one was a starter allowance at Keeneland. Last time out, he missed second by a nose. A race it was won by a runaway pace setter, so I forgive him for that one. A pretty strong effort. So 3, 4, 9 in here for me. I did find the 8 interesting as well. Jake Rocks. Didn't use him, but he is interesting.
Yeah, this is one of those races, and we talk about like finding the level at Saratoga can be difficult. Let's just rip through the last races for these horses. 1 horse, $40,000 claimer, got claimed. 2 horse, 62 N2X, won the race. 3 horse, $80,000 N3X, won an N2X the race before. 4 horse, $40,000 claimer, got claimed. 5 horse, $40,000 claimer, got claimed. 6 horse, $80,000 N2X. 7 horse, $50K claimer, didn't get claimed. The only horse that did not get claimed. The 8 Jake's Rocks, 40K claimer, 50K got claimed, in for 50 now. And the 9 Nifty, 50K claimer, in for 50 now. So every single horse that wasn't protected got claimed except the 7 last time. And 4 of those horses are stepping up from where they got claimed to go into Saratoga. These type of races, it is so hard to pinpoint exactly where these horses are from a class perspective that it can be races that create chaos. Because it's not as simple as, there's 3 droppers. I'm going to use the 3 droppers into the claiming level. Because guess what? 5 of the other 6 horses were claimed last time out in our new barn. So a lot of moving pieces here, which make it really tough to pinpoint exactly what horse you want. And real quick, I'll make the case for the 1 here. Ray Handel, pretty good off the claim. This one is a race that sets up well for this horse. Should get a good trip. Going up to the 50 level after getting claimed at 40. He's 12% off the claim. Dylan Davis picks up the mount, 20% with Dylan Davis over the last 2 years. this is the type of horse that just jumps up and wins sometimes at a place like Saratoga. And oh, by the way, this is a reclaim as well. So for me, that's interesting on a couple fronts. This is the third time Ray Handel has had this horse. He had him when he won, or I'm sorry, ran second, got a career best Beyer 81. Then he loses him, gets him back, runs him at the 40K level, loses him again, now gets him back for the same ownership group that had him last time. So the fact that they've reclaimed this horse twice and now we're going into Saratoga with it, tell me they believe there is more in the tank here for think about it. At 20-1, I think there's a chance this one pulls the upset.
It is scary at 20-1. I didn't pull the trigger, but I thought, especially for a tournament, this might be Mike's tournament play at 20-1, the number one horse here. Pretty enticing there. Let's move on. Penultimate leg of the late pick 5 on Friday, July 14th at Saratoga. Race 9 is the featured race, the Coronation Cup Stakes for 8 3-year-old fillies sprinting 5.5 furlongs on the outer turf. And not a big surprise here. Love Reigns is your single, not mine, but your single, Mike. Explain why.
I mean, this horse can get Rosario'd and still win. So you got to respect that talent because holy shit, was that a bad ride last time that Love Reigns ran. This is your clear class of this field. Like, let's just take a step back here. The only horse that I think really sniffs the 4 is the 2-horse Love Appeals. There's more tactical speed in Love Reigns than what we saw last time. I don't know if we're going to see it because Rosario's aboard, so you never really know. Kind of a wild card. But if Rosario decides to make Love Reigns forwardly placed, Love Reigns could go gate to wire. If Rosario decides to Rosario the heck out of this horse, Love Reigns still wins. That's what we saw last time. I mean, this was one of those where you're like, I have seen less traffic on the 405 than what Rosario had to get Love Reigns through to try and get this victory, and did everything he could. Like right here, just come out right here, just split outside. No reason to try and duck inside. But no, let's just hang out here.
At this point, you think she's going to be 5th, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like
still behind. No, okay, we're still 4th. Okay,
Yep.
Now we're going to go.
I mean, the horse had so much kick in this race. This was first off a layoff. This was against a good field at Keeneland. This is the high buyer in the group, even with all of the shit that went wrong there. I mean, to me, this is going to be really tough to beat Love Reigns in this spot. I do think the 1 and the 2 have a chance of jumping up, but outside of the 2 of them, I'm not sure who beats her. And like, the thing is, I don't think Love Reigns needs to be there. She's got more tactical speed than to be 8 lengths off the lead around the far turn. So as long as we use some of that, Joel, this shouldn't be that tough of a field to beat.
Oh, Dennis saying, by the way, podcast listener, we were watching the replay for the Limestone Stakes where she won against all odds at Keeneland. And the horses that were right out, she was, let's see, Dennis said he had a 4-11 and 11-2, and it ended up going 3-11-2 there. That was, if she doesn't get up there, it ends up being 11-2, and Dennis has a nice catch. So didn't happen there. Listen, the only reason I didn't single her because of Joel Rosario and that ride. It's like she won despite the jockey in so many ways, and that scares me when we get to Saratoga. I went too deep, and if she gets beat, it's because nobody presses early on the number 8, Basarati at 8-1. Winner of 3 straight since she got on the turf for the first time. Last time out in the Stormy Blue Stakes at Laurel Park, she goes 21-2, 43-3. She beats My Sweet Affair, the one horse that's in this race, who I think is very talented, but continues to just get 3rd, 4th in all of these stakes races here, including in the Limestone when she should have beat Love Reigns in that spot. Like I couldn't use My Sweet Affair and Love Reigns together. I just don't think that's something you can do because we've seen when they're head to head what will happen. Basarati, I'm taking a flyer, hoping that the fact that she got on turf and suddenly completely reversed her form and seems like a much happier horse. Just shoot her out of the gate, send her, and hope she holds on. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, if I use someone else here, I don't hate the use of the 8 because I do think the 8 most likely is going to be on the lead. I think the 4 could press if it wasn't Rosario, but it's Rosario. So the 8 probably is out on the lead. The 2 horse is awfully interesting. Love Appeals, if you look what happened, the horse got Rosario'd, and then they switched to Franco, and the horse wins by open legs. There's some talent in the 2 as well. If I was going to go too deep here, I would be 4-2. This feels like a really good spot to be playing a Stone Cold Super or Stone Cold Try, 4-2-1-8, 4-2-8-1, something around those numbers, because man, it feels like that's going to be the 4 top horses here. I don't really see any of the longer prices jumping up and getting him.
Pedlo says 8 is outside the 6 post, which is true. Very good fact, Pedlo. But the reason he says that, rarely a winner on turf sprints at Saratoga outside the 6 post. Nick Feldman, if you had, again, go back and listen to the opening day preview because Nick had some great stats from Brisnet about post positions for the turf, both sprinting and routing. I don't remember exactly what that is, Pedlo. I know Pedlo well enough to believe him in this spot, but he said rarely, not never. So I'm going to go with this being a rarely.
The one other thing that I would say is I would love to know what the percentage is if the horse is lone in front, because that kind of changes the post in a lot of ways where, like, if you have stone cold lone speed, and honestly the 8 is probably stone cold lone speed if it's not for the 4, the post isn't as relevant because you're not going to be wide, you're going to cross over to the rail, you're going to be able to save ground, you're going to be able to control the pace, so all of those things make it a lot easier to win from that 8 post.
Chris Mello brings up a good point, which you can kind of watch through the meet here at Saratoga as well. It says, it feels like Manny Franco's eating into Joel Rosario's status as first call for Clement. Yeah, Rosario's on the ward, and that's the one you would expect him to take. But, Clement's been switching to Manny and Pratt a little bit recently, so we'll see how that plays out over the course of the meet.
There's been some sprinkling of Dylan Davis in there, too. And if you remember last year, there was the Clement Davis thing that we talked about. Whenever Clement shipped and Davis went, that horse ran. And so I wouldn't be shocked if we see Dylan Davis on some Clement runners this year at Saratoga as well.
5th and final leg of the Saratoga Late Pick 5 on Friday. Jalor? What the hell month is that? July 14th, race 10 is a 1 1/16 mile inner turf route for 12 males, 3 and up, plus 2 also eligibles, plus 2 MTOs, all in for 35 claiming tags. And these are horses that have either never won 3 races or are 3 years old, but that only affects 1 MTO. So these are non-winners of 3 lifetime in for 35K tags. Where'd you go on top in the nightcap?
Oh, give me the 2 horse. Penner Ash on top here. And guess what? Main reason this horse got Rosario's last time. If you go back and you watch the race, Penner Ash was lone speed in a 1 1/8 race, yet sat in 8th of 9 through the majority of the race. Just draw a line through that entire race. Like, they crawled up front. He had no chance to make up ground. Was wide on the first turn, wide on the second turn. Just an atrocious ride on a speed horse. You go back to the race 2 back. Mike Maker trained. Horse ran very well at the 50K level. Gets claimed out of there. Now we're dropping down to the 35K level. So theoretically, against a little bit easier of horses here, multiple good races over the turf. Handled the soft turf well at Keeneland to close out that 3-year-old season there. This is a horse that has some upside for what you see in the past performances still, and has 2 races you can point back and say that's good enough to win this race. So I think the Penner Ash here is going to go off at a significantly higher price than Penner Ash should because of the last race, which again, whole Rosario job, like full Rosario right there.
Yeah, you're getting horse's last 3 races, all as a 4-year-old, 5-2, 2-1. 4-1 last stop. We got Rosario now 8-1. So you're definitely getting some value on the horse. Didn't make my ticket, but this race I felt like you can make cases for and against just about all of them. Top pick for me, number 3, Hilliard at 7-2. And speaking of Mike Maker, Maker claimed this horse in 2021 for 40K. And you look at the 6 starts that were not at stakes level. He had a win, 2 seconds, and a third. Gets passed around to Kerry Briand, doesn't really do much, including trying the hurdles. Okay, whatever. We'll switch back here to the turf for 2023, or I switch back to Maker for 2023. Ran 2 times at Turfway Park on the synthetic, was on the turf last time out, missed by a net going this long at Belmont last time out. Irad keeps the mount. I thought that was a really good effort, especially because the horse had to kind of steady back earlier. Wasn't as close early as he tends to like to be. You can point to that Turfway Park synthetic 3 back to see where he, his better running style. So I went with the 3 on top. Also, the horse was owned and bred by a gentleman named Brian Hilliard. So we put his name on the horse. Didn't love him enough not to let him get risked for a claiming tag, but he did love him enough to put his name on it. I'll play him here.
Yeah, lost to Dancing with the Stars too, a little ways back there. The horse has to be good. That last race, nice. Sneaky good. You mentioned it had little issues around the first turn. Definitely did. They went 49-3 to the half mile, closed in 1:43, so sub 12s the rest of the way from the half mile home, and the horse was still able to make up some significant ground, almost 5 lengths from that point. So very good race off the layoff there. Temple City on the top, Smart Strike on the bottom. These are very good turf horses generally. Maker knows what to do with this one. Irad rides it back. You'd expect you're going to see some improvement here from the 3 Hilliard. I use that one as well as my second pick in the race. I'm going bombs away after that, though. I thought you could make a case for a couple of the prices. The first one's going to be the 7 Invisible War here, 15-1 on the morning line. Joe Sharp off the claim, 13% off the claim. But I looked around for a while and was like, who could take this field gate to wire? Who could be that horse that decides they want to go forward? I landed on the 7. I think that Invisible War has a shot of taking this field gate to wire. You've seen turf efforts that have gone poorly, but the horse has been forwardly placed in the past. I think it's interesting that Sharp moved this one over the turf. You do have a good effort over the Gulfstream Synthetic. And look at that workout. July 9th, Saratoga, 35-1. That nice little 3 furlong bullet right before the race goes. You get Saez aboard. He's generally a send jockey for Sharp. I think the 7's got a shot at taking this field gate to wire at a big price.
See, I actually thought the 1 would probably be sent. The 7 could probably go as well, but I was looking at this trying to figure out, does Joe Sharp just assume it's going to be off turf for the finale? Because this horse fits pretty well in 2 of the races that we talked about, especially the 16K Claimer. I think he'd be a really great fit there on the dirt. But no, we're going to be on the turf, and there's only 2 efforts on turf, and both of them pretty piss poor. I mean, stranger things have happened at Saratoga. I couldn't make a case for this horse like you just did, but you liked the 7. You also, I'll stay with you for your other bomb here, the number 8, Our Country. Pratt riding for Mark Hennig. Tell me about this one.
Yeah, real quick, though. The synthetic races are all good. The turf races are bad. The synthetics were all good. And so there is some breeding in there that this thing can handle it. It's just a question of whether or not the turf. And the other thing about turf race that was awful. Yes, it was awful. Totally happy to say it was awful. Just dead quit in that race after going 48 to the half, but didn't have the lead. So I'm hoping that it was a dead quit awful, not a hate the turf awful, right? We're making that push there. We'll see what happens. Other horse I like here, the 8 horse, Our Country, 10-1 on the morning line. Pratt's going to be coming from the clouds in this one, but you're dropping down in class here from the 32 optional down to 50K allowance. Now we're going all the way down to $35,000 claimers. There's multiple races in this horse's past that fit here that win, and the horse has a win over this turf course. Ran at Saratoga last year, July 22nd, the first weekend, and just got into a world of trouble. I mean, that was you basically could not be more than 2 wide at any point on either of these turf courses to win early in the meet. Was 3 to 4 wide on the first turn, 6 wide on the second turn, tried to make a move and just got passed by half the field when it happened. This is one where now you're getting hopefully a little bit better of a trip. It's going to drop to the back and make one big run. Hopefully there's enough pace early. I do think there's a couple horses that mix it up. I think that the 7, like I said, probably gets the lead, but the 1 might go a little bit. The 9 might go a little bit. And I just don't think this horse should be 10-1. I mean, when I went down to it, it was between a couple different horses for the last one on the ticket. I would like the 11 a little, like the 12 a little. You're getting double the price on the 8 Our Country here. I think that's where the value is. So I ended up going 2, 3, 7, 8 here in the last.
Next, I had 2 other horses that I used. I don't have much to say on that. There's a lot of horses here. You could make cases for and against here. The last 2 for me, number 12, My Romeo Lima at 4-1. Really don't love the post here for even going 2 turns, but the horse takes a pretty suitable class drop after running protected in all 3 starts since he was claimed for 50K. Recent turf efforts don't look that good, but he did break his maiden going a mile and 16th on the Ellis Park turf last August. And you got first-time Jose Ortiz angle. Trainer Jose Cameo won 3 of 14 starters at Saratoga last year, 10 of 14 in the money. So I thought at 4-1, it's in the post, they're not great, but I do like the connections angle and what Cameo did at Saratoga last year. And then I also went for a bit of a bomb price here. Number 4, Ario at 12-1. The horse was right behind Hilliard last time out at Belmont Park. Set the pace, ended up finishing 3rd, just a half length behind Hilliard. But in that race, Manny Franco had to use him pretty hard early because of that track configuration. He was all the way in the far outside 10 post when he broke, and they're starting kind of on the turn. So he had to go fast to get around all the horses and cover more ground to get over to the rail and set the pace. And you look at his past and you're like, all right, he looks like a need the lead type. But he did break his maiden routing from off the pace. It was on dirt at Laurel, but he has shown he can come from off the pace if he doesn't get the lead. I definitely don't think he gets the lead here. I think he's going to have to stalk. But 3rd off the layoff, 3rd start of the year, should see a peak performance. And again, he was half a length behind my top pick in the number 3 Hilliard last time out. And when I think you could make excuses for why he ended up being a half length behind, if he doesn't have to make that huge wide sweeping move at full speed out of the gate, I think this horse ends up being really close and it's a 3-way photo finish.
Yeah, the 4 I looked at for a while. Yeah, I had to use a little bit, but went 25, 49, and 3 to the half, and ran as good as possible home from there, and couldn't get the job done. That to me was the problem.
Yeah.
That like if you look at that race, you would much rather be REO through the mass majority of that race than Hilliard, and Hilliard still was able to win the race because of the being a better horse, really. Even though the setup I felt was on REO's side, and that's why I ended up leaving the 4 off the ticket. Wouldn't be shocked if the 4 horse was one that came back to bite me here, though, because I do think, especially with how close the 3 and the 4 were last time and the price of the 3 and the 4 this time, I would not try and talk anyone off the 4.
That's going to do it for this episode of the Magic Mike Show. Thanks for joining Mike and I to go through Saratoga's Friday Late Pick 5. That's Friday, July 14th, the headlining race, the Coronation Cup. You can get Aaron's full preview for that at racingdudes.com and youtube.com/racingdudes. We'll put our tickets down below for the audio listeners. We'll give them out one last time. I'm going to go 7-8 with 3-5-7-9 with 3-4-9 with 4-8 with 3-4-12 for $72. Mr. Somich.
Play a 50-cent ticket. I'm going to go 1-5-7 with 3, with all, with 4, with 2-3-7-8. That'll cost you $54 for 50 cents. Why? Because I need more allowance.
Chris Milo got it. Yeah, Beats references from Doug. I love it. Yeah, good job. No, Killer Tofu. That's it. The Killer Tofu, I think, was always my favorite.
Killer tofu.
And yes, that was the aria. That's what I was trying to do there. Thank you for doing that. Pedlo says, good to see your face, Mike. I agree. Not that, no shot against the 2 Nicks, Severs, and Feldman. They did a great job filling in, but it's good to have you back here. Glad to have you on the show. Glad to have all of you joining us for this one. If you haven't yet subscribed to youtube.com/racingdudes, we'll be covering Saratoga in depth all meet long. Vinny Blond is on board with us. He's going to be doing best bet videos for us. He's a very sharp handicapper. He's based up there near Saratoga. Mike's going to be up there this summer off and on. Aaron's going to be up there a few times. If you're up at Saratoga, let us know. If one of us, a good chance one of us is going to be around there. You can hang out with us, play the ponies, and it'd be great to see you. Coming up later today, and actually at 1 hour and 1 minute, Dudes Who Bet Daily. Not Dudes After Dark. Sorry, Shoddy got me all excited. Dudes After Dark. Why did I just do that? Dudes After Dark, 2:45 Pacific. Nick Severs, Nick Feldman, and Dr. Tang all covering Canterbury's Late Pick 5 live tonight, so you can join them for that. It'd be a great show. Before we get out, very important question from John K. What's your favorite Dave Matthews Band song? No wrong answers, but what is it?
It actually changes regularly.
Okay.
Like I don't listen to Dave like 2 bands I used to love that I don't listen to enough anymore, Counting Crows and Dave Matthews. And every time I get back into them for some reason, I pick a different favorite song. So like number 41 was my favorite song for a long time. I used to really like Crush, not Crash. Used to really like Ants Marching, which obviously everyone likes Ants Marching. So it's kind of changed. It's a little all over the place right now. I'd probably go with number 41 though. But yeah, it's interesting when you get some of the like bands you liked in high school, and then you start listening to them again, and you gravitate toward different songs or different albums because of your because your tastes have changed and life's different. But it's one of those that's like just a very good live show. If you've never seen Dave live, I know all the stereotypes around it. It's just fun. Go there, have a good time, hang out for a couple hours, enjoy the music. It's a fun show to see. So looking forward to it a Friday night. Hopefully it does not rain, because we are supposed to get a 60% chance of rain on Friday. That's the card we just covered. We'll see when it comes, if it comes. It's supposed to rain today. I believe it's a 40% chance of rain up there. No rain on Thursday, no rain Saturday or Sunday. So hopefully all the weather stays away, and we get a nice clear day for Friday's late card and for the Dave Matthews concert.
My favorite is Crush, not Crash. I love that you said that, Crush, because I have to do that too. Crush, specifically the live version when he was at Central Park in like 2002 or 3, where Crush it normally as a single is like 4 minutes long. This one's like 12 minutes because it's just a giant, it turns into a whole jam band session. It goes through like, it slow it down and they build up the pace. There's a lot of like, it just gives me all the feels. I love that one. So that one, Ants Marching, is great. So Much to Say, that's a great one as well. I would love to see Dave live. Yeah,
it's just one of those, like, I didn't even realize how excited I was going to be. Like, the SPAC concert schedule came out. My dad emailed me and my cousins on, like, I don't know, I think it was April when they released the SPAC concert schedule. And so there's the 6 of us, I think, that are going to the concert on Friday night. And it's like just the Somich cousins that are all going because we saw them in high school and we haven't seen them in 20 years or whatever it is. So looking forward to it and just seeing what happens. Yeah. But the Crush, the album version, I think it's 8 minutes. The one that got popular on like radio was like 3:30. You need to go with the album version or a live version.
Yeah. yeah, the jam. I played saxophone all through middle school and high school, so any song where Dave is featured as late great saxophone player was great for me. Apparently Shoddy thinks it's 2001. She's going to go see Nickelback this weekend. Yeah. We're talking about Dave Matthews and Counting Crows, and Shoddy's going to go see Nickelback. Oh boy.
Oh boy. Oh boy!
Listen, I guess slim pickings, right? When you're down in BFE, Arkansas, you get what you get. If the Canadian rock group Nickelback decides to show up down there, that's probably the best it's going to get for them.
Yeah, I do have to say it was heartbreaking for my daughter. The Kids Bop, unfortunately, was last weekend, so the Kids Bop kids are not in concert. We're going to be up in Saratoga. So we're probably going to end up having to go see them back in San Diego or down in I think it's Irvine in September or something like that. We have seats, not lawn. My dad bought us 4 seats, so we're in the seats. I think that means we might be covered, get a little shading from the rain. But yeah, I think we got seats.
Dr. Dang, we're saxophone brothers, I guess. Is that over? Yeah, no, that's fine. Over Racing Dudes. They're not going to go there. RacingDudes.com. Like I said, you look at the page here. It's Saratoga, 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 Saratoga. You think we're excited for Saratoga? Also, great video to go check out. Why Churchill Downs was wrong for extending Bob Baffert's Kentucky Derby suspension. Aaron Haltman kind of breaks down in full detail what has happened. Which, if you're watching or listening to this, you probably know what happened and how we got to this point. But as much as we are not pro Bob Baffert for the Racing Dudes as a whole, Aaron very objectively laid out all the points and explains why what they did was wrong, and it's a great listen, so go check that out. The comment section on that is blowing up worse than Jonah Hill's phone from his PR agency this morning, so you can go check that out. Make sure you subscribe to youtube.com/racingdudes. Follow us on Twitter. I am at Curtis Kalleward. He is at Somobomb 18 number 8. Again, let us know if you're going to be up at Saratoga at any point this summer. Love to see and hang out if we're going to be there. We will be back. Are you going to be available to do Monday's show? I have no idea what your travel is like.
Yes on Monday.
Okay.
Yes on Thursday.
Perfect. All right, we'll be back here on Monday for another Magic Mike show. Also tune in. The All-Star game for the Major League Baseball is great. It's fun to watch, but it also means that a couple days before and a couple days after, it's just nothing to talk about sports-wise. So Due to Bet Daily will be back tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and all through the weekend with our best bets from the sports and horse racing worlds. We hope to see you there. Until next time, I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
Good luck at Saratoga!
The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.